The COVID-19 family coronavirida is a product of heresy. Here is why. First of all, you should know that your genes are the ones responsible of your immunity and actually are regulating almost all of your physiology, not the vice versa. There is no antibody that will change your genes. Genes are static and you are born with it and you will die with it. And part of your physiology is immunization, which is regulated by genes. Genes are producing antibodies responsible for attacking certain types of viral substance. That means there wouldn't be a vaccine that changes your genes. Genes are actually affecting immunity. The evidence for that not all viruses are viral in all of the animal. Some viruses are only for plants. Some are only viral in chimpanzee. Genes are the principle and the fundamental theory, if you would like, but not the vice versa. Genes are located in all of the cells of your body, but never will be found in any of the bodily fluids like saliva or even blood. Even your hair don't have genes. Saliva and bloods are like the liquids where clinical laboratory tests are done by doctors, say the urine. Not all tissues in your body are cellular. Some tissues, like connective tissues, are acellular and there is no DNA in it. Connective tissues are made of collagens, fibrins, and there is no DNA in your fatty tissues. And swallowing an orange seed will not make a tree in your belly. This is a tooth fairy tale. Here is very important. You should know that the orange seed do have genes, and onions might have genes, but we are always eating these things and nothing is happening. Why viruses are causing diseases? You should know why, but that doesn't change the elementary informations we all studied in the medical school. Some viruses are capable of mutating and causing cancer. This is correct. Think of hepatitis. This is correct. But if it's happening, that will kill you actually. It will not make a new limb to your body. Vaccination programs are usually for infants below 6 years. If children over 6 years are vaccinated, they are taking the second dose of the vaccine after 10 or 11, 12 years because they are born with incomplete immune system and they are in contact with a variety of viruses. Some are causing the same symptoms of the alleged coronavirus like RSV, the respiratory syncytial virus. And this virus never had any vaccine and never been vaccinated against RSV, for instance. You cannot measure the temperature of the body using infrared camera. This is heresy. Vaccines are not treatments. On the other hand, serum antibodies are treatments. So selling the pandemic to the people is not solving the problem because the vaccine is only for protecting the person from a virus. If he doesn't want to be protected, that's up to him. And they are saying that viruses are everywhere in the air, in your vest, in, and everywhere. Everything you touch might be contaminated with the virus. Even if you are vaccinated, you might be spreading the virus by your shirt or your bag, anything. And serum antibodies are the treatment. Serum antibodies are already used in treating patients with virus. Say, for instance, the rabies virus is treated with the rabies serum. And there are other types of viruses that are actually not even treated. They don't treat the virus. They just wait for it to go away, like meningitis or herpes, etc. Nothing is called vaccine against cancer or vaccine against addiction. This is bullshit because unfortunately the people promoting these things are they don't understand what is a vaccine actually in the first place. They think it's an injection in the hand of a doctor. Here is a study which is more shit that COVID vaccines is nanotechnology. Some people might believe in these kind of shit, and they took it. Here is a study is taking it for granted that the COVID vaccine is a new technology, new biotech. There are only four types of vaccines: alive attenuated, killed inactivated, and toxoid vaccines. Toxoid vaccines are vaccines against gram-positive bacteria, not viruses. Subunits recombinant vaccines. Here I discussed earlier, the recombinant techniques is capable of producing subunits proteins, part of the structure of a virus, and after trial and error studies, they might find the protein that is capable of triggering the immune response. Not all antigens are capable of triggering the immune response. As I said earlier, it's a trial and error method. It's a better vaccine, better than the alive attenuated or the killed inactivated, you giving the part of the virus instead of the whole. If the immune response has been triggered, there is no need to repeat the process. Vaccines are not like antibiotics, and you should take it in dosages. As I said earlier, vaccines are not treatments given to the person for protecting the person, not the patient. The lowest dosage that causes the immune response is enough for the body to take action and make the antibodies responsible for immunization. The immune system is two parts. The cellular immunity, say for instance allergy. Allergy is instinctive or cellular immunity, and the acquired immunity, those given from vaccines or antibodies. You should distinguish between those two. Quarantine is a term usually used in factories to quarantine products, not cadavers. Isolation is already in hospitals, but not hotels. And I don't know the madness, what is happening in the world. Usually, when a pandemic is happening, there should be an intermediary, animal host. For instance, the Black Death that caused the bubonic plague in history was caused by the contact of infected rats. But at that time, humanity was unaware that rats are causing diseases, so they were dying in millions. Today, people in COVID are dying like the bubonic plague without knowing the cause. Even the influenza, usually these pandemics, these outbreaks are located in places, not global. And influenza is caused by the contact of animals, say chickens, horses, etc. These animals actually we contact because we eat. You might say eating a chicken that has been burnt is sterile. That's correct. But before cooking the chicken, some people has been in contact with, and these people might spread the virus. Viruses do have animal hosts. For instance, dogs, infected dogs can spread rabies. Mosquitoes can spread malaria. I know malaria is not a virus, it's a parasite. But some variety of hemorrhagic viruses like Ebola or dengue fever or maybe yellow fever endemic in Africa are killing hundreds of thousands of people every day, and nobody is taking action by a vaccine. The typhus fever is caused by lice and or rats. The typhus fever is not a virus, it is an atypical bacteria, but a bacteria that is small, that cannot be seen in a microscope. They thought that atypical bacteria like Rickettsia rickettsi are viruses. They are not, they are bacteria and are treated with antibiotics. In history, typhus fever caused a lot of diseases. Water, if not purified, it might spread viruses like hepatitis A. Tattoo needles might spread the AIDS, or maybe hepatitis. Bats are not convincing intermediary. We do not contact with bats. Even in China, we are not domesticating bats. We are not eating bats. That's not convincing. The bats are not convincing intermediary. Rats, okay. Bats, no. Chicken, okay, but bats, no. So why is the confinement? Why they took all these actions in all over the world, government by government? Because the confinement was an online problem caused by the internet prostitutes. They needed support and protection behind the camera of the laptop in order to continue their dirty business. Yes, they wanted people to be confined behind their screens. COVID 19 is a conspiracy for hiding another conspiracy in space. Yes, in space, believe it or not. Think about it. The Sputnik vaccine, the Russian vaccine, actually is not a vaccine. Sputnik is the first space probe to be sent in space. The Sputnik 1 and the Sputnik 2 in 1901 and 2 in 1957. Sputnik 2 sent the famous Laika dog to space by the Soviet government. And some might not believe me. I will discuss that later because I really wanted to explain space. Space needs oxygen, and why? And the COVID uh, patient needs oxygen, but producing oxygen for a patient is is more is more conspiring than producing oxygen for one astronaut to live in space or in the ISS. So it's a conspiracy. It was a war on oxygen. Believe it or not, it was a hiding conspiracy for hiding another conspiracy. Thank you.